Hey guys, I wanted to do a little follow-up video to the Philco 50T-1404 because after I edited the video and uploaded it and was watching it, I realized the sound quality didn't seem good enough. Had a bit more buzz and wasn't quite as loud and clear as I thought it should be. So I pulled the chassis back out and rigged it up with the TUS CRT and had a focus coil off to the side there, so I left the other picture tube mounted in the cabinet. I wanted to tweak the sound alignment, and what I thought was interesting is that it's a bit different than what I'm used to. It is split carrier, but rather than the usual 21.25 megahertz, it is 22.1. And this guy, that's your first, second, or primary and secondary of the, between the first and second audio IF stages. Those are trimmer caps on top, not movable slugs. I'm used to trimming a transformer with a slug on the top and on the bottom, but in this case they're trimmer caps and they're both on top. And then this guy with the two movable slugs, this is the tunable slug for the last IF stage and then the ratio detector. So you need to peak these two, and I believe it's this guy, for 22.1 megahertz. So fired up my HB 8657, 22.1 megahertz, and I enabled FM modulation so we can hear a tone. And the way you feed the signal in is kind of interesting, I thought. You take the shield off the mixer tube and you insulate. So I just insulate it from ground, so I just threw some masking tape around it. And you clip your input in and ground it to the chassis. And there's our tone. And you adjust these two, and I'll warn you, they have just the tiniest tweak makes a big difference. And they have to be quite tight. I'm turning it like 1 degree, maybe. But that's the gist of it. They say to do it with a VTVM at a certain test point, but I've been doing it by ear. You know, still off. It's so hard to get right on it. Alright, so let's turn that off and get rid of this and switch to converter box, which I already have hooked up. There we go, had a loose connection. It's such a very touchy. There we go.
And Atari's major
way
I know this
sound.
is ridiculous to ask you to put a valuation on
nice and
so many
clear.
different machines, and their value.
Turn the overhead lights off. You can see the picture is really sharp too.
Tens of thousands, right?
Even figuring 1,000 games, you know, not working for a lot of these games, you're mid, and I'm sure would go up.
Still a little bit of a hum. And just remember, there's supposed to be
the wing of the Smithsonian. You know what I mean?
a shield around this guy. So let me install that and see if it gets rid of that little bit of a hum. So as I moved my hand near that tube, I noticed the hum getting a touch louder. I mean, adding that tube shield did help. I think that's as good as we're going to get, which is way better than it was when I recorded that earlier segment. So, I just thought you guys might find it interesting how Philco does things a little bit differently. And I'm curious to see, so this is a 1950 chassis. When I do the earlier ones from 48, 49, do they do a similar setup with trimmer caps rather than movable slugs, and do they also have the oddball sound frequency?
Entire network of electronic components, transistors and all, incorporated onto a single chip of silicon.
You took out all the sun lamps and the
There we
heat
go.
generated
That's
by
a
the
lot
vacuum
better.
tubes, and you reduced the power requirements, but at the same time you're increasing.
Took
the
a little bit
speed.
more effort, but it was worth it to get it right.
But what really made the computer a ubiquitous device
So that
was
is
the
it
advent of the
for now,
microprocessor.
for real, for the Philco 50T-1404 restoration project. Thanks for watching.
Putting out a new line of high-performance programmable calculators. Intel introduced the 4004 chip in 1971.